Hello and welcome to the Segmentor walkthrough. In the next couple of minutes, I'd like to show you how to use Redux Segmentor, how easy it is to segment your data with it, and explain the features. And by the end of it, you will know how to use the most basic features of Redux Segmentor. Now, in the first step, I'd like to walk you through how a regular user would create an appeal and segment their data, and in a second step I'm going to explain those steps that the user went through so you know exactly what they mean and what options you can choose and how that works for you. Now let's get started. The create appeal page that we're on is the basic page that you get started on, that you get right to after you log in, and you choose a segment plan which we just have, and you look at your segments, you choose particular range that you want to mail, and you preview it, and you check the counts, see that they're in the range of what you're looking for to get, and you name it, and you generate your appeal. Now this all happens quite quick, as you can see, and in the back end we have about 100,000 records that are segmented, and you're done. And you can download your output file, and that is then ready to be sent to the mailhouse. Now if you wanted to also check previous appeals and previous counts of those appeals, you can go to the view appeals page and see those there. There we go. You can delete them as well if you wish to clean up a little bit, and you also can see that we have different formats. More on that later. So this is it. This is really how a user would go through it and segment their data. Now let's go back to the create appeal page and explain those details. Now, as I've mentioned, at the core of it is the different segment plans that you have. Most people have just one. You have a one central segment plan. Other people have more. And the way those segment plans are set up is we work with you and check your requirements and then help you set that plan up. They can vary quite a lot depending on what your requirements are. Now let me explain what each of those parts of the segment mean. The code is the code that a person will then get assigned to if they qualify for it. The name is for you to identify it, and we also have a pack name. Now the pack name is something interesting. It helps you to say decide what letter you want to send to people, and if you have a particular range of segments that you want to send one letter and another range of segments that you want to send another letter, then this is exactly what it's for. This can help you do exactly that. Now, how does the segmentation work? In the back end, we have an algorithm that goes through these segments hierarchically and chooses which records qualify for which segment. Now, the algorithm, most importantly, also makes sure that each person is only assigned to a particular segment once. So if we have, say, donor called John, and he would qualify for segment code 40, then he might also qualify for segment code 60. That's quite often a situation. Now what happens is the algorithm goes through hierarchically and chooses the highest segment in the order as displayed here. Now what if we unselect segment 40 and we only output 60? Same remains. In the back, the segment code 40 is assigned to John, and when it gets to 60 already knows that John is assigned to 40 and it won't assign him again. This just simply helps you out by maintaining the order and the structure of it and the counts, the integrity of the counts. And that's the most important part for you to know about that, because when you choose the segment plan, the hierarchy of those segments will determine where people get assigned to first. Now, say if you had a requirement to only mail a particular number of people, you might want to first see how many donors you've assigned to what segments, and say you'd have a budget to mail about 200 people. and you can see that here, yeah, maybe your top donors, the top 3 segments, they're a little bit less than 200, so you'd go back 70, 80, 90, you remember that, and instead of selecting all of them, you choose 70, 80, 90, you preview it, and you see that this is quite right, that we're quite okay with that count. And you can also see down here there's an exclusion, so 17 people were excluded from that. We do have standard exclusions, and if you go back up here and scroll all the way down, you see here the standard exclusions that have been applied to that. But obviously we can also implement custom exclusions for you, as shown here, to make sure that you only include the people you actually want to mail. Now also here is you can already download the counts here before you actually create the PO. Say if you wanted to get approval from your client, you can simply do that and then you're done. Now we can close this and say we want to actually generate that appeal, and we name it, and the other box down here is called appeal on, and say if we are creating the appeal now but we want to choose to run the appeal as if we had run it on the 31st of July, we can do that here as well, and then only gifts that were on or before the 31st will be included in that calculation. Now we generate it, and there we go. You have created your appeal, and there you are, you're done. So hopefully this has shown you how easy it is to use the segmenter, how to configure it, and you'll understand how to use it.